Hi everyone, to another episode of Dimitra's Dishes. Today I have 3 quick and easy weeknight dinner ideas that are on the table in about an hour. Some of them are ready in less time than that, and they're loaded with bold Mediterranean flavors. They're healthy and your family is gonna love them. We're gonna start with a cozy chicken Youvetsi stew. Then we're gonna move on to my sheet pan kebabs that are just so delicious and full of flavor, and you don't have to roll these out by hand. You just spread them out into a sheet pan like I'm going to show you, and they are amazing. They're so good. And then we're going to finish this off with a roasted salmon topped with feta, olives, and herbs that just is so good you will not believe it. Let's get started. Chicken Youvetsi is a cozy Greek stew that's made with chicken, a light homemade tomato sauce, and then it's finished off in the oven with some orzo pasta. Okay, so we're going to begin with the onion. The recipe calls for 1 medium to large size onion, but I have these 2 small ones over here. I'm just going to peel them and then finely chop them and set them aside. And then normally if this wasn't a 60-minute dinner idea, I would brown the chicken first. I have a whole chicken here that I've just cut up into large pieces. And I have it right here in this bowl. You can use chicken quarters, leg thighs, and drumsticks, or you can use a boneless, skinless chicken thighs, but I do prefer the chicken with the bone in because it has more flavor and it's definitely more economical too. So like I said, I would normally brown the chicken first, but because we're trying to get this on the table sooner, I'm gonna skip that step and heat up my skillet over medium heat, add some olive oil to it, and then I'll add the onion in here. And if you were adding diced carrot, I would just peel and dice up 1 or 2 carrots and add it in with the onion. Cook the onion over medium heat for about 8 to 10 minutes until it's nice and soft and golden, or I would even go a little bit less since we're on a little bit of a time crunch. And then add in 4 garlic cloves that are grated. Just warm them through just a little bit until they're fragrant. Then I'll add all of the chicken in 1 even layer. I'll season the chicken with salt, freshly cracked black pepper, crushed red pepper flakes, 1 bay leaf, crushed oregano, a cinnamon stick. If you want to, you can also add 2 cloves at this point. Tomato paste is also really nice to deepen the flavor, but I'm totally out of that as well. But I do have a 15-ounce can of crushed tomatoes, that's 500 grams. That's gonna go in, and I'll rinse the can out with a little bit of water, and then I'll cook the chicken for about 20 minutes. While the chicken is cooking, it's gonna cook over medium heat with the lid on. Then I'll also warm up some chicken broth in the back, about 1.5 quarts of it. That's gonna help everything cook really quickly once it goes into the oven. As soon as it's steaming hot, just keep it simmering on very low heat, or you can turn it off so it doesn't evaporate. And then I'm gonna transfer the chicken with all the sauce after about 25 minutes of cooking. The sauce is gonna have thickened. This is gonna get transferred into a baking tray. You can put it in a 9 by 13 inch baking pan. This is a little bit bigger. Actually, I don't even know the exact size, but I will put the link for this one on the blog post with a link to where you can get it on Amazon. It's a really good size. It's a roasting pan basically, but a 9 by 13 inch pan will work as well. I just like to get it in a thinner layer so that way the orzo cooks very evenly. Then I'll add 1 pound or 500 grams of uncooked orzo. This is orzo pasta that's going in. Season it with a little bit of salt, about 1.5 teaspoons, or to your liking, some more freshly cracked black pepper. And then that hot broth that we have heating over the stovetop, that's gonna go in at this point. And then this is gonna go in my preheated oven. It's preheating at 400 degrees Fahrenheit. This is gonna bake uncovered for 30 minutes. Then when you take it out of the oven, you'll see that there's a lot of liquid in the pan. And don't worry about it, because once you let it sit for about 20 minutes, that orzo is going to absorb all of that liquid, or at least most of it, and you'll have just the right amount of sauce left. Another quick trick to have it cool down a little bit quicker, you can throw in some ice cubes, which I didn't do. But if once you add the ice cubes to this, it'll retain more of the sauce, and then the orzo will stop cooking, so it won't be overcooked. I like to garnish this with some finely chopped parsley. I serve this with feta cheese and olives, and it's ready to serve. This one tastes better than a restaurant if you ask me. We're gonna begin by chopping up the onions. So I have 2 pounds of ground beef here today, and I'm using 80/20. And before I put that in the bowl, I'm gonna chop up either 1 large onion. I don't have a large onion, so I'm gonna use these 2 medium onions. Just peel them and cut them into quarters, and then they're gonna go into my food processor just because it makes it so much easier than chopping by hand. These are gonna get chopped until they're very finely chopped, and then they'll go into a big bowl. Then I have a bunch of parsley, fresh parsley of course. I'll just cut off the tougher stems. I'll leave the light stems in there, no problem. These are gonna go into the food processor with one either jalapeno, or you can use a serrano pepper just for a little kick of heat. If you like it a little bit spicier, you could put 2 in there. Or you can leave it out altogether. And we're gonna chop this up also until everything is finely chopped. It's gonna go in the big bowl with the onion. 2 pounds of ground beef, like I said, is gonna go in here. And I love using a fatty cut of ground beef just because it makes the kebabs juicier. Lean beef will be a little bit tougher. I don't recommend it for this recipe. Now I'll season this with 2 teaspoons of salt. I'll also add some granulated garlic powder. I have tested the recipe with fresh garlic and it does add a lot of flavor, but I do prefer the mildness of the granulated garlic. So 2 teaspoons of that, lots of freshly cracked black pepper. Mix everything all together. I like to do this with gloves because I'm multitasking and I don't want to have to worry about washing my hands. I could just take the gloves off. Mix the meat really well so all of the flavors come together and they're all distributed equally. You don't have like a salty bite of meat in one kebab and then no salt in the other. So mix it really well. And then we're going to prepare the baking pan. So I like to drizzle a half sheet baking pan with olive oil. If you're not making it all at once, you could do 2 smaller pans, but I am making it all at once, so it's all going to fit. Drizzle the pan with olive oil and just rub it all around so that way the pan is evenly coated. And then I'll just press the ground beef mixture into a flat layer, leaving about 1/4 of the pan exposed because I'll put some veggies on the side and I don't want the kebabs to be too thin. So this is what you're looking for. Flatten it out as best as you can. And then if you have one of these big dough scrapers, you can just press it in horizontally just to kind of get a little bit of a design on there or just some ridges. The kebabs will look like they were hand pressed that way. And then you could cut them into slices vertically, as thick or as thin as you like them. Separate them just a little bit. They're gonna separate more while they're cooking because beef while it's cooking tends to shrink. I have a red onion. I won't use the whole thing, some of it. Just cut it into little cubes. And then I will add some tomatoes. I like these Roma tomatoes. I'll just cut them into quarters, put it on the side of my pan. If you want to add some bell peppers to this, you could, or a serrano chili. If you want something a little bit spicier, you can add that in here as well. Drizzle the veggies with a little bit of oil, season them with a hit of salt, and then drizzle some oil over the kebabs as well. Leave the pan on the side because the rice is going to take a little bit of time too. They're going to cook at the same time, so I won't put these in my oven just yet, but I will preheat the oven to 425 degrees Fahrenheit while I get my rice ready. I just put 2 cups of rice in a bowl and I rinsed it 3 or 4 times with cold water, and then you want to let the rice soak for 10 minutes. So before you start making the kebabs, you can do this step first. And then after the rice has soaked, we're going to cook the chickpeas. So I am making a chickpea rice pilaf with this. And I'll just get some olive oil heating in my pot. Once it's nice and hot, wash and drain 2 15-ounce cans of chickpeas and then add them to the hot oil. We're just gonna get a little bit of color on these, season them with a little bit of salt, and just cook these in the hot oil for about 5 minutes or so. We're not looking to get too much color, just a little bit. It deepens the flavor. Then I'll drain the water out of the rice and I'll add the rice into the pot, season it with 2 teaspoons of salt, add 2 cups of either water or lemon broth, and you can add black pepper too at this point if you like. I did season my chickpeas with a little bit of black pepper. Bring the mixture to a boil, and then once it comes to a boil, reduce the heat to a low, cover the pot, and the rice will be ready in 20 minutes. Once the 20 minutes are over, just fluff the rice really gently, turn the heat off, and the rice is ready to serve. While the rice is cooking, you could put the kebab pan into the oven, and it's gonna cook on the top rack for 15 minutes. And then after the 15 minutes, I like to turn the oven to the broiler setting and let the kebabs and the veggies broil for about 4 or 5 minutes just to get nice color on them. It's gonna evaporate some of the juices. And while that's happening, I like to chop up a salad to serve with this. So I just like to dice up some tomatoes, some finely chopped red onion, parsley goes in there, a squeeze of lemon, and then I also like to season it with a little bit of salt and sumac. Mix that all together and the salad is ready. Of course, you could add some mint to this if you like. If you want some cucumber, you can dice up some cucumber and add it to it. Once the kebabs come out of the oven, you're gonna see that there's gonna be some liquid left in the pan. That's totally fine. That's gonna help the kebab stay nice and juicy. I like to serve the kebabs over rice with the salad and the veggies and then my spicy green sauce. But of course, tzatziki sauce also tastes delicious with this. So does shawarma sauce, and it's ready to serve. This takes 15 minutes just to put together, and it takes another 15 minutes in the oven. Okay, so I have one big salmon fillet over here. You can use any size you like, but this is the one that I bought from my local market. I'm just gonna season it on both sides with salt and freshly cracked black pepper. And then I'll set it aside while I prepare all of the remaining ingredients. So I'm using a red onion, but use whatever you have on hand. So I'm gonna peel the onion and cut it. I'm only using about 1/3 of it. You can use the whole thing if you like more flavor and more sweetness. Just finely chop it and set it aside. And then I'm using pitted Kalamata olives today, and I'm just going to roughly chop those as well and set them aside. I have some grape tomatoes that I had in my fridge. I just want to use them up. I'll cut them in half and just arrange them around the fish, but these can also go on top of the fish too. I'll top the fish with the chopped onions and the olives, and then I'll crumble lots of feta cheese over that. And then lastly, I'll drizzle a little bit of olive oil over the fish and the tomatoes. Finish it off with a little bit of dried oregano. And my oven is preheated to 425 degrees Fahrenheit. This is gonna go on the center rack and it'll bake for 15 minutes until the fish is fully cooked and everything else is just gonna soften up. I like to garnish this once it comes out of the oven with some finely chopped parsley and a little bit of lemon juice on top, and it's ready to serve. And there you have it, 3 quick and easy weeknight dinner ideas that will make your busy weeknights less stressful and definitely more delicious. I hope you guys give these a try. If you want to print out the recipes so you can follow them step by step, you could head on over to the blog and either follow along or print these recipes out and keep them in a recipe binder. If you want more videos like this, let me know in the comment section down below. I do have another quick and easy weeknight dinner sheet pan edition coming up next week, so stay tuned for that one. Thank you so much for spending time with me today. I'll see you all next time. Yes, us.